Good morning. This is Dina Marie for Mater Dei Radio. In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6, we read about the mission of the 12 disciples, preaching and healing in the villages. Upon returning to tell Jesus all they had experienced, Jesus told them to come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. Well, we too are called to take time out of our busy schedules to rest in the classroom of silence and reconnect with Jesus and our mission. Each summer, the Franciscan missionary sisters of Our Lady of Sorrows host a week-long Catholic education retreat to rest a while and renew our relationship with the Lord. This year's Summer Institute runs July 10th through the 15th, and their theme this year is Mystical Union with Mary. Steve Ray is one of this year's speakers, and he'll be discussing a day in the life of the Holy Family and the 11 unknown sorrows of Mary. With me today to talk about the Summer Institute and his participation this year is Steve Ray. Steve, it's great to talk with you again.
Thank you, Dina Marie. It's always good to talk with you as well, and I'm looking forward to the retreat this summer.
Well, I know we're catching you between different events, and I want to offer my condolences. I know when we first talked, your mother just passed away. She lived a beautiful 100 years. What a blessing.
Yeah, and she wanted to go out with a bang, so she died on Mother's Day. Now we're going to have the funeral on this coming Wednesday.
Oh, well, we are praying for her and for her soul. And I know that's the gift of our faith, right? To know of the gift of the resurrection. So we're just so grateful for your
Yep.
gift of ministry.
One of the last words she said is, "I can't wait to see Jesus."
Isn't that what we all want to say?
Yep.
Oh, well, give us a sense just within Lent and Easter, just some of the pilgrimages, travels that you've been able to do in the last few weeks.
Well, we've been grounded for 2 years, as you know, because of all the COVID hysteria going on. But now we're back in the air again. Busiest year I've ever had, I think, my wife and I. We've already taken a group to Lourdes and Fatima, and we took another group to Italy, the Saints and Shrines of Italy, we call it, starting in Milan and working our way all the way through Rome, hitting all the sites along the way. Just amazing trip. That was in March. And then in April, we took 57 people to Israel, and all their vaccine requirements are waived, so they're gone. We're leaving on Thursday to go to Israel again with another sold out group. And then we're taking another group in September, November, and December to Israel. We got two cruise coming up, St. Paul cruise. We hit 10 biblical sites through Turkey and Greece on the Mediterranean. And we also have two Oberammergau Passion Play trips coming up. And one of the ones that we're kind of excited about for people that may not have the time or the money to go on those internationals, we have the Shrines of Wisconsin. And we're going to actually go across Wisconsin. We're going to hit Our Lady of Guadalupe with Cardinal Burke's going to celebrate Mass for us, and the National Shrine of St. Joseph, and the only Marian apparition that's approved at Our Lady of Good Help. And then we have, following that, at the end, you can go to one or the other or both. After the tour, the shrines, then in La Crosse with Cardinal Burke after celebrating Mass, we have a 3-day conference that I'm putting on called Love Being Catholic Conference. That's going to be Love Being Catholic, and it's going to be me speaking, and Father Chris Alar, and of the Divine Mercy fame, and Father Don Calloway, who wrote the book on St. Joseph over last year. So those will be speaking with me, and Jeremy McClellan, who's the best Catholic comedian in the world. He's going to have an evening. One of our banquet dinners will be with him. So that's coming up in July. So anybody wants to have a good time going through the Saints and Shrines of Wisconsin and the Catholic Conference of Love Being Catholic that we're putting on in September. So those are some of the things we're doing.
It's wonderful. Wow.
So we're busier than ever. I just got back from Ave Maria, Florida, where I did their Marian conference this weekend. And I was with my son and two of our grandkids who are going to go there to college now.
Oh, how exciting is that?
It makes you feel old, though, when you've got two grandkids in university already.
Well, we just keep working for the Lord, Steve. So it's what a blessing. Steve Ray is with us, and he'll be taking a little time to come out to Beaverton, Oregon, USA. We're grateful that you can have time. Last time we had you with the Institute, we just started the crackdown, but we had you on Zoom. And so I
Yes.
know so many people enjoyed your talks. And so we'll have you in person, which we're grateful for, July 10th through the 15th. You know, Steve, I know many of our listeners know a little bit about your conversion story, but as a convert, and you're talking about these conferences and pilgrimages, just as you became coming from Protestant to Catholic, what helped you along the way? What types of activities, events, resources were really part of your conversion story?
Well, my wife and I did it together, and the whole impetus to get started on it was our dissatisfaction with Protestantism. We were raised evangelical Protestants, and we were very aggressive. I did Bible studies in churches. We had a Bible study in our home every Monday night with 50 people. And I started my own business precisely so I would have time to study and evangelize and teach the Bible. But we became very disillusioned with Protestantism for a number of reasons, which I don't have time to go into now, but that eventually drove us almost to the point of agnosticism. But we ended up finding the Catholic Church because of a friend of ours who converted. But I have to say that our conversion to the Catholic Church wasn't through anything other than reading books. My wife and I just studied and we read. And the main guys that brought me into the church were the Apostolic Fathers. Ignatius of Antioch, Clement of Rome, the Shepherd of Hermas, Justin Martyr, Irenaeus of Lyon, these guys from the first 100 years or so, 120 years. And the reason that they brought me into the church is because if I could have found a missing link somewhere between what the Catholic Church teaches today and Jesus and the apostles, I could have avoided becoming Catholic, which I did not want to do. But there was no missing links. From what the Catechism teaches today, if you follow it, there's links, not only papal links, the history of the papacy going all the way back, but the teaching too. And it goes all the way back to those Apostolic Fathers who taught the same thing. They were not Protestants. I always thought they were Protestants, but they were very Catholic. And when I read those guys, I said, before there was even a New Testament, these guys believed in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, and that it's a sacrifice, and the office of the Bishop of Rome, and the priesthood, and all of these things. And how in the world could they have believed those things in the first century? They didn't even have a Bible yet, New Testament. They were Catholic. So I said to my wife, how can we not become Catholic? That's the church. That is the church of the early fathers, and that's where I want to be. That's really how we became Catholic, and it was by reading books. I'd like to say it this way, Dina Marie. We invited Ignatius of Antioch, Irenaeus, Justin Martyr into our living room, and we interviewed them for a year through their books, and they convinced us to become Catholic.
Yeah. It's just such a testimony of when we're exposed to the truth.
Yep.
And we're open to the truth will lead us right into the heart of Jesus Christ and his church.
Exactly.
It's the Roman Catholic Church. Steve Ray is with us here on Mater Dei Radio as we are anticipating he and a few other speakers coming to the Catholic Education Retreat. Steve, for you just talked about your own conference that you're going to be putting on, to be so excited about being Catholic. Tell us a little bit about your experience of just inviting people to come on retreat, just the real value of going on a retreat.
Well, a retreat is like a pilgrimage too. And I put those into the same category because when you're in your daily life, you get stuck in a routine and you do things normal way and you get a million distractions every day. I always say that I just got interrupted by an interruption, which interrupted my work today. But when you come on a pilgrimage or a retreat, you get pulled out of your daily routine and your comfort zone. And you're with other people on a journey. I know there's a lot of talk about the synodal way today, and I'm not at all crazy about all of that, but it comes from the word, the group. When Jesus was left behind in the temple, it said they could not find him among the group of travelers. That word in Greek is synod, the synodal. It's travelers together, people, and the whole city of Nazareth, 250 people, they were all traveling together to Jerusalem for the festivals, and then they traveled back. It was the group together and a pilgrimage group. So when you get people out of their comfort zone and you have like-minded people doing something together, it's like a fireplace. If you put one log in the fireplace, you can't get it to burn. It's not going to burn no matter what you do. But if you put a bunch of logs in the fire, you can get it roaring because one log feeds off the other. And when you get people out of their homes and their jobs and their daily life and their kids and their grandkids and mowing the lawn and all that stuff, and you put them all together and in an environment where there's an emphasis and a focus, then that they just like the fire can burn, and it gets them thinking differently. It gets them in a new state of mind, and it really converts the heart. I'm convinced that nothing can convert a person faster than going on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, for example, where you're walking in the footprints of Mary and Jesus. You're praying each mystery of the rosary where it happened. And to come out to Oregon, I'm looking forward to that, because people come out and it is a retreat. They step away, they retreat from their normal life. And that's why it's called a retreat, and where you focus your mind on things that matter most. What matters the most? Not getting the lawn mowed. That's important. Washing the dishes. Those are things important. But it's good to break away from those. Like you said, Jesus got away from the people. He went up in the mountain to pray. This is how John chapter 6, where we read about eat my flesh and drink my blood, that whole chapter, how does it start with Jesus feeding them loaves of fish? And then he went up on the mountain all night to pray by himself. And if Jesus needs to get away and retreat and pray to the Father, how much more do we? So I'm looking forward to the retreat. And I think that's what it does for people. They come home energized. It's like charging your batteries.
Yeah, absolutely. We are always charged our batteries with Steve Ray with us. Steve Ray is joining us here on Mater Dei Radio. Steve, I'm coming up to a break, but if you would hold on, I want to talk with you a little bit more about some of the content that you're going to be bringing to the
Oh,
retreat. So will you stay with
exciting.
us?
It's exciting. I look forward to it.
Okay.